Francesca da Rimini. Her Francesca da Polenta was the daughter of Guido da Polenta, Lord of Ravenna. She was a historical contemporary of Dante Alighieri, who portrayed her as a character in the Divine Comedy. Life and Death. Daughter of Guido I da Polenta of Ravenna, Francesca was wedded in or around 1275 to the brave, yet crippled Giovanni Malatesta, son of Malatesta da Verrocchio, Lord of Rimini. The marriage was a political one. Guido had been at war with the Malatesta family, and the marriage of his daughter to Giovanni was a way to solidify the peace that had been negotiated between the Malatesta and the Polenta families. While in Rimini, she fell in love with Giovanni's younger brother, Paolo. Though Paolo too was married, they managed to carry on an affair for some 10 years, until Giovanni ultimately surprised them in Francesca's bedroom sometime between 1283 and 1286, killing them both. In the years following Dante's portrayal of Francesca, legends about Francesca began to crop up. Chief among them was one put forth by poet Giovanni Boccaccio in his commentary on the Divine Comedy, Esposizione sopra la commedia di Dante. He stated that Francesca had been tricked into marrying Giovanni through the use of Paolo as a proxy. Guido, fearing that Francesca would never agree to marry the crippled Giovanni, had supposedly sent for the much more handsome Paolo in Giovanni's stead. It wasn't until the morning after the wedding that Francesca discovered the deception. This version of events, however, is very likely a fabrication. It would have been nearly impossible for Francesca not to know who both Giovanni and Paolo were, and to whom Paolo was already married, given the dealings the brothers had had with Ravenna and Francesca's family. Also, Boccaccio was born in 1313, some 27 years after Francesca's death, and while many Dante commentators after Boccaccio echoed his version of events, none before him mentioned anything similar. In Inferno, in the first volume of the Divine Comedy, Dante and Virgil meet Francesca and her lover Paolo in the second circle of hell, reserved for the lustful. Here, the couple is trapped in an eternal whirlwind, doomed to be forever swept through the air just as they allowed themselves to be swept away by the passions. Dante calls out to the lovers, who are compelled to briefly pause before him, and he speaks with Francesca. She obliquely states a few of the details of her life and her death, and Dante, apparently familiar with her story, correctly identifies her by name. He asks her what led to her and Paolo's damnation, and Francesca's story strikes such a chord within Dante that he faints out of pity. Related works. In the 19th century, the story of Paolo and Francesca inspired numerous theatrical, operatic and symphonic adaptations. Poetry. Dante, Divine Comedy. Leigh Hunt, The Story of Rimini. Theatre and Opera. Silvio Pellico, Francesca da Rimini. Tragedy. Feliciano Strepponi, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Padua. Paolo Carlini, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Naples. Saverio Mercadante, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Madrid. Gaetano Quilasai, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Lucca. Pietro Generali, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Venice. Giuseppe Staffa, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Naples. Fornia Gore, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Livorno. Francesco Morlacchi, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Unperformed. Antonio Tamburini, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Rimini. Emanuele Borgata, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Genoa. Gioacchino Maglioni, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Genoa. Eugene Nordal, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Linz. Salvatore Pappalardo, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Genoa. Not performed. George Henry Boca, Francesca da Rimini. Play. Gian Neruda, Francesca da Rimini. Play. Hermann Goethe, Francesca von Rimini. Incomplete opera. Gabriele D'Annunzio, Francesca da Rimini. Tragedy written for D'Annunzio's mistress Eleonora Jews. Stephen Phillips, Paolo and Francesca. Play. Francis Marion Crawford, Francesca da Rimini. Play. Marcel Schwab, Francesca da Rimini. Play. Translation of Crawford, Sergei Rachmaninoff, Francesca da Rimini. Opera. Luigi Mancinelli, Francesca da Rimini. Opera in one act. Emile Abrani, Paolo Iacutes, Francesca. Opera. Franco Leone, Francesca da Rimini. Opera based on Crawford's play, Primo Recitelli, Francesca da Rimini. Opera, Riccardo Zandoni, Francesca da Rimini. Libretto by Tito Riccordi, based on D'Annunzio. Opera. Nino Berini, Francesca da Rimini. Play. Music Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky, Francesca da Rimini. Symphonic poem, Arthur Foote. Symphonic prologue, Francesca da Rimini. Op. 24. Antonio Bazzani. Symphonic poem, Francesca da Rimini. Op. 77. Paul von Klenau. Symphonic poem, Francesca da Rimini. Medieval Babes. The Circle of the Lustful from the Rose album. Olga Goreli, Paolo e Francesca from House Music, 20th Century Chamber Music for the Home album. A guitar duo, Gioacchino Rossini, Francesca da Rimini. Art Joseph Anton Koch, Paolo and Francesca surprised by Gianciotto. Watercolor, Thorvaldsen Museum, Copenhagen. Marie-Philippe Coupe de la Couperie, The Tragic Love of Francesca da Rimini. Oil on Canvas, Napoleon Museum, Arenberg. Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres, Paolo and Francesca. Oil on Canvas, Musée des Beaux-Arts, Angers, France. A.R.Y. Scheffer, Francesca da Rimini and Paolo Malatesta are appraised by Dante and Virgil. Oil on Canvas, Wallace Collection, London. A.R.Y. Scheffer, Francesca da Rimini and Paolo Malatesta are appraised by Dante and Virgil. Oil on Canvas, Louvre, Paris. Gustave Doré, Francesca da Rimini. Alexandra Cabanel, The Death of Francesca da Rimini and Paolo Malatesta. Oil on Canvas, Musée d'Orsay, Paris. George Frederick Watts, Paolo and Francesca. Oil on Canvas, Private Collection. Auguste Rodin, Vegas. Marble Sculpture, Musée Rodin, Paris.